Hey peeps, we are back. We are talking about Housewives of Atlanta, season 14, episode 2. I am coming live from C19 Hill. I figured since I've been laying around in bed, coughing and sneezing and carrying on these last few days, the least I could do is catch up on the Real Housewives and talk to my peeps. So I first wanted to start off just by saying thank you so much for all the well wishes. I haven't really had the chance to log in and get in the comments and everything, but I have seen the notifications pop up on my iPhone, so I just wanted to say thank you so much, you guys. I'm going to be in quarantine for a few more days. This is the best I've sounded in several days, so I figured why not talk to my peeps. So let's just get into it. Hey, before we get into the video, please do me the honors of subscribing to my channel, hitting the notification bell so you can always be notified when I post new content, hitting the thumbs up because that does wonders for my channel, and share. Thanks. So before we get into the show, there has been a lot of stuff that I seen online maybe about 4 or 5 days ago that there is some casting situation going on at the Real Housewives of the Orange County. They are saying that they are bringing back every last one of the current cast members, including Dr. Jen. They are also saying that they are considering bringing back Alexis Bellino. But there's also been a lot of stuff online that Shannon and Tamara are on the road to recovery. They're trying to get their friendship back together. But there has been a whole bunch of arguments going back and forth online between Tamara and Heather. Heather had the audacity to say that Tamara shouldn't be brought back on the show because her and Teddy have a podcast where they cover the show. And I thought that was very laughable because Heather Dubrow has a podcast where she covers the show. So, and she's had that podcast before she got back on the show. So isn't that a little bit of the pot calling the kettle black? I think Heather doesn't want Tamara back on the show because I think Tamara will read Heather for filth and it won't be cute, but it would be nice to watch. Anyway, I don't know. I'm being mean. I don't know if it's me or if it's the C19. Either way, I'd love to see Heather get told the hell off. Anyway, let's just move on. So the show starts off and we're at Sonyas house and we find out that it's not just her husband, her handsome husband, anyway, and their beautiful little boy, plus her parents. Her mom is so beautiful. Anyway, it's also her sister, her sister's husband, and her sister's 2 kids. So it is a total of 9 people living in their house. She says that they've decided that they are going to try to stay together for 1 year. Then if her sister and her husband and her mom and dad like it enough in Atlanta, they will get their own places. Her sister is her hairstylist and her mom is her manager. So it works out because they work so closely together and they are a really cool family that they are there together. However, they do have a little bit of a hiccup over some Jamaican beef patties. And I can tell you that if you guys have never experienced the goodness of a Jamaican beef patty, then listen, go out and get you some, okay? Those things are so good. I would like to have one of those now. I probably can't. But anyway, they're delicious.
But it's more than $1, so what you fussing about then?
These are the things that I was concerned about prior to
I don't
coming
want to be scrutinized, I don't want to be asked no questions, and I don't want to be told what to do.
I thought that was hilarious, and I also think that they are so cute. I love to see the 3 of them together. Her mom is like a lot of moms. You know, you could say one thing and it'll trigger them, but you have to remember it's your mom. Give her love and respect and a little distance. I mean, they are staying together and it is a little tight with 9 people, no matter how big the house is. Just give your mama a little love. We go over to Charades house and we see her mom. And I just got a question. Peeps, at one point, was Charades's mom missing or something? I can't remember that far back, but I can say that her mom looked really good and she looked really healthy. So it was good to see her. And later in the episode, we got to see Charades's daughter, who is absolutely gorgeous. And she's 35 or 36 years old. And I said, daggone it, Charades is looking amazing. That woman has kept it right and tight. And she's got a beautiful 36-year-old daughter. That is something else. But her and her mom are getting set for a visit from Kenya, and there's all kinds of nice sweet treats. You know, I'm always looking at the food. And her mom says, does Kenya eat sweets? And she says, how the hell do I know? She says she's skinny as hell right now. I am here for it. You know, Kenya is looking amazing. She has her Dancing with the Stars body. I know we've seen Charades House before, but her house is still absolutely beautiful. I love Chateau Charades.
I cannot wait to show this bitch my basement.
Okay, do you remember over here, boo?
Yes! I love it! Oh my God, it's so comfy. This is like a club.
Yeah.
Love it, Sheree.
You cannot hate on this.
How high are those ceilings?
And we're in the basement.
I appreciate that Kenya gave her props. She says that Charades House is amazing and you cannot hate on it. And I appreciate that because Kenya did everything she could to hate on Charades House and vice versa. They took a little time to throw some shade at Marlo's event.
You lived in an apartment with white refrigerators.
What's wrong with a white refrigerator? I mean, at least I could pay my rent.
You had to rent for Lisa Ray.
I don't even know Lisa Ray.
Girl, shut up.
Not like that, like borrowing a car. Dragged poor Drew over her little bun last night. Coming from a girl who just had actual Bosley hair implants, you're talking about a girl with a bun. Like, said that you owe the assistant money. He has been going back to Drew, telling all your personal business.
I did not know that if you had a white refrigerator, you were somehow living in poverty. You know, I didn't know. All of this talk about white refrigerators, I thought, I own a white refrigerator. Does that mean that I am completely poor, that I am broke? I love my refrigerator. I mean, it has the ice maker and everything. It has all the drawers, the clear drawers. I mean, it's an up-to-date model. I mean, daggone it. These people are ridiculous. You want too much. You are killing the white refrigerator market. I mean, is there a white refrigerator market? I don't even know. Listen, after the show, Kenya went out on Twitter and she posted, I never rented or borrowed a car from @TheRealL Ray 1, which is Lisa Ray. We're cool, but people make up the dumbest things to say about me. And something else I thought was funny, somebody posted a tweet that had a picture of Bethany Frankel and Kenya, and it says, they get into a verbal fight. Who's clearing? #Real Housewives of New York, #Real Housewives of Atlanta. And Kenya responded, she said, me, of course, laugh out loud. I think that that is correct. Bethany is no joke. I'm just saying between these two, I think Kenya would win. The Bone Collectors are in full collaboration mode. We have Sonya and Sheree and Kenya, because you know when Sheree was not on the show, I felt like Kenya was picking up where Sheree left off. She was collecting. So it seems that everybody is collecting. You had a little bit of Candy collecting and spreading information, Kenya collecting and spreading information, Sonya and Sheree. These four are a mess, but I am here for it. Listen, that joke that Kenya made about Marlo and her Bosley hair transplants, it was inappropriate. Now, I'm not saying that I didn't laugh about it, but I am saying it was inappropriate. Does she know how many people that have had Bosley hair transplants that she has offended? I'm just saying, ma'am. So finding out that Anthony, Drew's assistant, is also a part-time assistant of Charades was a little bit of a shock. But what was really a shock to me is how shady Bravo production is. When they showed that man, it said Anthony, Drew, and maybe Charades' assistant. I think that Drew should have kept that information to herself. And I think that if she wanted to share it with Sheree, she should have shared it with Sheree one-on-one. Because we've seen last season that Drew is not really good when it comes to verbal sparring. And Sheree is. Who gonna check me, boo? You know, and I don't think Drew is ready for that energy. Don't get out here spreading information about Sheree because it's gonna be a problem. I personally think it's just the assistant trying to get some airtime. I mean, the way he introduced himself to Candy when she showed up to Drew's house, it just read, I really would like to get some camera time. I'd like to have my 15 minutes of fame. And it shows that he is extremely unprofessional to share any of Sheree's personal business with Drew, which makes me think that maybe Sheree and Drew should get some NDAs for people that are working for them, especially if you don't want any of your personal business to be spread around town. Now, does Sheree owe this man money? If so, girl, pay him his money and go on about your business. Don't use this man again. He does tell Kenya that Drew needs to worry about that husband and stay out of her business. And I could not agree more. This is just ridiculous to me. I'm starting to think that Drew and Ralph are using this as their storyline to continue to stay on this show, because this is the second season that Ralph has drug and embarrassed the hell out of Drew on national television. In my opinion, it's time to walk away. The new storyline needs to be Drew handling her business on her own, raising her babies. I'm thinking that Drew is really pulling in the money from all them Lifetime and BET movies, because she now has a personal chef. And I would just like to say, Lifetime people, I am extremely entertaining, okay? Call me. We can do something. So I'm ready for my close-up, Mr. DeVille.
Fired her.
So y'all don't talk anymore?
I never said we don't talk anymore. I just said we're not doing business.
Okay. How does she look?
She's a 50-year-old woman.
Can you define gaslighting?
I don't manipulate someone by psychological means into questioning their own sanity. Oh my God.
Now, honey, listen, that's some straight up bullshit. Straight up bullshit. Okay? Listen, if I am your wife, I don't give a damn. If I am your girlfriend and you care about me, you love me, wife or girlfriend, and we are supposedly in a committed relationship, and I tell you that some situation that's going on in your life with the woman that you have hired is inappropriate and it's offensive, and I don't want this woman working with you anymore, that's a wrap. That means all communication is to cease. Do you understand me? Don't tell me that you are not doing business with her, but you are still having conversations with her. What kind of conversations? As a matter of fact, I don't even give a damn what kind of conversations, because this is going to be you and I's last conversation. And then don't come off talking about she's 50. Are you out of your damn mind? I have seen some of the most beautiful women in the world, and they are over 50. Don't play with us. We are not stupid, Ralph. Okay, you are gaslighting the hell out of this woman, and this is ridiculous. When she says, if this was happening and some guy had texted me that, you would be upset, and he tried to act like he wouldn't. Didn't we see him last season get all upset with her for dancing with Bolo? Boy, if you don't stop, you childish bitch. Excuse my French, peeps, but he pissed me off. I mean, he is really acting like a little bitch. I mean, Ralph is a nightmare. He really is. And to me, he just seems to be emotionally abusing this woman. He may not be physically abusing her, but in my opinion, he is emotionally abusing this woman. And I need her to realize that she deserves better. Where is your mama this season? I mean, even production knows that Ralph is absolutely gaslighting her. Production is playing no games this season. I don't know who the editors are for The Real Housewives of Atlanta, but I need them to also be the editors for the rest of the franchise, because Atlanta is not pulling any punches. Oh, and I'm glad that the producers asked her if she knew what gaslighting was, to have her actually look it up and realize your husband is gaslighting you. You are not crazy. You are just following what he is saying blindly. Girl, do better for yourself and your babies. He is not it. So we see Marlo and her nephew out shopping for the upcoming homecoming. I love Auntie Marlo. She is doing great. Well, as she calls it, Monty. I love it. Seeing Kenya have a tea party with Brooklyn was so beautiful. Number one, I was just happy to see her. You know, all this time she has wanted to be a mom, and she is enjoying every second of it. And it also reminded me of all the little tea parties that I used to have with my mom. And my mom bought me a real porcelain tea set that was tiny for children. And we would have tea parties every Saturday at noon in my pink and gold and white bedroom. I had a pink and white gold canopy bed and a little table, and we would sit there and we would have real tea and little cookies. I mean, my mom, man, she's one of the best. I'm just saying. So then we find out that Candy is still doing Candy, okay? Candy is always going to have the bag. She is always going to be working and out here just doing it. We find out that she's a producer of a new Broadway play called The Thoughts of a Colored Man. I love that she's always open for new adventures. She's always willing to jump in and do something. She is such a go-getter. She does mention that she's making history as one of the producers of this play because it's the first all-Black production that has ever been on Broadway. So I Googled that because I always thought it was The Wiz, but I was wrong. It turns out that the first ever full-fledged Broadway musical with an all-Black cast, playwright, composer, and lyricist, the show was a major hit and ran for about 484 nights on Broadway, was a show back in 1921 called Shuffle Along. So I am not trying to shade Candy at all, but maybe she just didn't realize that Shuffle Along came out in 1921. She wasn't alive and neither was I. I thought maybe she meant this is the first one in the 21st century. I don't know, but either way, it's a major accomplishment, and I'm really proud of her and the whole production team. Candy does have a conversation with Todd and lets him know that she is extremely busy, and him taking multiple vacations throughout the year really upsets the flow. And he lets her know that her taking months to work on different projects, doing movies and TV and stage, plus concert touring, also upsets the flow for him as well. I think that I can understand both sides. And maybe they need to get together and synchronize their calendars so that they can make sure that both of them are where they need to be when they need to be there, and especially for the children. Candy does say that she thinks that Todd is in his feelings because she's got this Broadway project without him, and they're so used to doing all their projects together. On top of all of this, they're having rich people problems. It seems that the guest house is full of boxes, and they were also trying to remodel the swimming pool, and it just looks like the swimming pool is filled up with the guest house. I mean, everything that should be around the house unboxed is inside the pool. I don't really have a lot of sympathy for this. We also find out that Todd has an apartment in New Jersey. I guess he used to live with his ex-girlfriend in this apartment, and when he moved out, she never took his name off the condo. But when she moved out of the condo, she never paid the condo off. So Todd ended up paying the condo off, and now he owns it. You know, I agree with Candy. I wouldn't want to live there in the apartment that he shared with his ex. But at the same time, he's living in a house that she owned before she met him. That condo would be great if they decided to rent it out. They can earn money from it each month, or they could just sell it. Or maybe they could remodel it and refurbish it together, and then she could feel like it was partly hers. I did notice that she skipped right over the part where he said his name is not on this house. Okay, girl, keep it moving. Then we see Marlo stop by to see Candy, and you know, she makes a comment about this place must be in the ghetto or in a bad neighborhood or something like that. And Marlo does that every time she goes to the candy factory. She always makes a comment about it being in the hood. Candy likes to stay in the community that she was brought up in. She likes to give back to her community. And I think it's a low blow when Marlo does that. Now, Candy's Halloween photo shoot, good God. Listen, I don't know if this is her way of letting the people know at Wicked that she's available. I have no idea, but I would go see it.
Shoot, how much she spent on this? But that has been you from day one. $1,200 suit for homecoming.
Time out. I have to say that why does being Black always have to equate to struggle?
We can still instill a work ethic in our children and still have them set up for greatness.
If I die right now today, Candy, I don't know if they're gonna go hard. I never, in the 2 years I've had the boys, invited me over for movie night.
You gotta be the type of friends you want.
To be honest, I don't really care where Marlo gets her money. You know, Marlo's money is not coming from me, so I don't care. It is not my business. Now, I agree with Candy. I see where she's coming from. I also see where Marlo is coming from. I think that you may appreciate things more when you work for it. But I understand what Candy is saying. Why must our children struggle? Why must we struggle? I think that if you are blessed enough to have financial means to purchase things, give things to your children, I think that it's fine to do that. But I also think you need to let them know the struggles, that everyone is not rich like they are. Everyone is not just handed everything on a platter. So I understand what Marlo is saying. She doesn't want the boys to think that they don't have to become something. You know, no one wants to just hand over everything on a silver platter. You got to work for it. I'm here for that. I really am. If I was rich, I would give my son the world, but he would know he needs to give back. He needs to work. He needs to grow and develop. That's all. I also agree with Candy. Marlo, you need to be the friend that you want. Todd Ross, Sonia's handsome husband, and little bitch boy Ralph, they go out to Todd and Candy's restaurant Blaze. That crab stuffed shrimp, that looked really good.
I could not find a massage therapist.
Yeah, there ain't none available right now. Oh, I should have gave you the massage. And you was like, well, you know I'm a man, LOL.
No, I said a guy, but no.
A guy. I don't know about that one, but I'll go with it, 'cause you my boy.
I didn't do it sleep. Drew should never been going through my cell phone to begin with.
Just make sure wifey right, man.
Really? You couldn't find one massage therapist in your area? That's quite funny. It really is. That's a whole bunch of bullshit. Now, I did appreciate that the boys had some laughs, but they also told Ralph, come on now, they are not buying his BS. This dude should be divorced real quick. It was kind of funny to see Ross and Todd mock Ralph for being full of crap. A lot of times you don't see men call other men out for their treatment of their wives or women. And I was really happy to see that they told him, you need to make sure your wife is good. Like, you play too much. Marlo trying to teach her nephew how to dance across that kitchen. I said, Lord, she will have broke this boy's arm before he even gets to homecoming. Now, that picture of her for her homecoming, she's not lying. She had about 4 or 5 different hairstyles in one, but everybody did in the 90s. I'm telling you, I was so excited to see her and her nephew. They both looked excited, genuinely happy, and he looked great. So then we see Drew has another assistant number 3. I said, so is she supposed to be Jen Shaw now? This is ridiculous. And then she's got these stylists that showed up in this outfit that she has on. And I said, well, damn, are you a cross between Jen Shaw and Giselle Bryant? What is with this outfit? But everyone knows I'm no fashionista. I have zero fashion sense.
And I stopped saying how I felt because I was afraid that wrath.
I'm gonna schedule a session for you to go and speak to Dr. Ken on like how to speak to men appropriately to get.
And then I will pay for you to have a session too, to learn how to talk to women.
Dr. Ken said that you like do like zingers and
we're talking about what Dr. Ken said?
I mean, that's what Dr.
Dr. Ken called you a maniac.
A maniac? You go and try to repeat what he says?
You repeated what he said about me.
No. Sometimes I probably just do too much. Doing stuff for you is not the move. I regret doing this.
Out of all the Real Housewife franchise husbands, Ralph makes the top 3 of most hated housewife husbands. Him and Mark Daly are on the list. He is acting like he is doing big things. Sure you are on camera, but I bet you don't do a damn thing for your wife at home. And she doesn't need romantic dinners. She needs you to quit lying, quit cheating, and be committed. Every time he talks, I think you walked out of the house without telling her you were leaving the house, went to Tampa and did not reach out to her. You say you put yourself last and you put your wife and kids first. Really? Ralph is an awful person. You know, when Drew got up and started crying, he just let her stand there. He didn't even try to comfort her. He decided that he would just ratchet up a little bit to make it worse and say that, you know, he regrets doing this for her. Ralph is absolutely manipulative and toxic. If this dinner was supposed to be for them to move forward, for him to apologize for his actions, she should be able to say something. You know, communication just triggers him and all of a sudden he turns into this big gaslighting monster. You are belittling the mother of your children. playing with her intelligence. Ralph, you are complete trash. Anyway, peeps, get down in the comments, let me know what you think. And until next time, bye.